I'm in Lansing, Michigan. I left Detroit this morning with a rental car. It's 100 miles west of Detroit, and I came to see a dentist that my dentist back home recommended me come see because I have a toothache for a few days now that keeps getting worse on my molar. And the general dentist says I have a nerve issue, which then she sent me to a root canal specialist, an endodontist they're called, and they're gonna do a root canal tonight or today, later today. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna stay the night here somewhere and take off in the morning and go north. I'm ready to see some non-city like areas. It's been a long time since I've seen nature. All right, root canal, sleep tomorrow. Upper Peninsula by next week. Fortunate to have Dr. Epley and his office staff squeeze me into their schedule. The toothache came on me very suddenly and with a serious punch. I had somewhat sedated the pain with anti-inflammatory, so when Dr. Epley first saw me, he had a difficult time pinpointing which tooth was the actual culprit. He asked me to wait 4 hours without taking any meds and come back. Well, by the time I came back to the office later on, I was in crazy pain, and that's why you see me twitching my feet while sitting on the chair waiting to get injected. I had never wanted a needle in my mouth more than then. Just got injected. Pain's gone. The root canal went smooth, and once again I'm all set to keep heading west towards Michigan's west coast. My gratitude for Dr. Epley and his staff was immense, and also for my dentist and his staff back home for helping me with the logistics in such short notice. Alright, now I gotta find a place to stay, get something to eat, and let this half-numb face go away. Hey, Pooch! Another day. I'm rested. My root canal was so good, I have no pain at all today, and I'm ready to start heading west. I'm gonna head west towards the west coast of Michigan from Lansing, and then right north from there to Traverse City. My aim this morning is to ride northbound on the quietest roads I can find to the town of St. John's, where the east to west Fred Meijer Clinton-Ionia Shiawassee trail crosses through. On the way I cross over US Route 127 on East Chadwick Road, and all of a sudden I'm in some of the quietest roads I've seen in a few days. It took about 25 miles to get to St. John's from Lansing and onto the Fred Meijer Clinton-Ionia Shiawassee trail. I'm definitely away from the city, and it feels good. Nice cool weather and awesome smells. Like it smells like they're farming not just corn and soybeans. I see some crops over here on the right, but they're too young for me to distinguish what they are. Anyways, I'm trying to get to this rail trail. I'm about 10 miles from Lansing. Nice and quiet out here. Soybeans, corn. I'm pretty sure it's mint, but not completely. It sort of smells like mint. Can't get any better than this. It's finely crushed limestone, smooth as can be. Nobody around yet, quiet, and blue skies as far as your eye can see. Cool temps are holding. The more I do rail trails, the more I like them. It wasn't necessarily a draw for me when I started bicycle touring, and now it's a big draw. I wouldn't want to just be rail trailing all the time, but it's the combination of the city riding, the state roads, the farm roads, the muddy roads, the rainy roads, and the rail trails, and the mountains when I can get on the mountains. Cannot wait, but it's gonna be a while. I'm gonna be mainly on flat ground for another month or so until I get to Wyoming and Colorado. I'm really trying to get to Colorado before winter so I can find a good window to climb over the Rockies there. I think it'd be hard to explain to somebody who hasn't done trails like this on a bicycle or hiking them, but I think on a bicycle better. How insane it is, how much fun it is. Just put some music on. It's really safe to listen to music while you're doing this and just lose yourself in it. The Fred Meijer Clinton-Ionia Shiawassee Trail runs where the former Central Michigan Railroad used to and has a length of 42 miles stretching between the towns of Ionia and Owasso. Hey guys. Hi. It also passes through the towns of St. John's, Ovid, Fowler, Pewamo, and Muir. It's mostly surfaced with crushed limestone and pavement when crossing towns for 8 miles of its length. I reached the town of St. John's and stopped to take a look at this war memorial where I meet up with John and Sherry. I was riding by St. John's here on the rail trail and met up with John and Sherry, who are from here, from St. John, right?
Yep.
And this is Clinton County, and this is a memorial for all the military and armed forces residents of the area. And Sherry's father, Ronald Jack, has a stone here, and they were telling me about it. So you guys have a farm?
Yes,
Yep.
a little
100-acre farm.
just north of town, about 3 miles.
And that's so cool that you come to enjoy this.
Yeah, I come
memorial.
up here. I moved to North Carolina back in 1975, but I come up here every summer to visit.
Oh, good for you.
Mom passed away 2 years ago, so we inherited the family farm. So we're going to keep it and hand it on to the next generation.
But you're here now working on the farm?
Well, we rent the land out.
The land out, yeah, okay.
Yeah. But we stay at the house. My sister uses it as a summer house now from North Carolina.
Well, it's nice meeting you guys.
Well, it's nice to meet you,
that's
and
great.
happy trails.
I just spent like 20 minutes talking to John and Sherry. They were so sweet. I think I almost got them convinced in getting a tricycle, one of those reclining ones. They were like, they live right close to the trail. I'm like, and he was saying, I really would like to bicycle. I wanted to go do the Appalachian Trail. I'm like, yeah, you're only 70, man. Get on some wheels and start getting on these beautiful trails. It looks like I'm just crossing the street, but without looking. But I'm looking both ways, just in case you guys were like, why are you like crossing that thing so fast? all the flat ground and smooth trail surface, I quickly cover the 10 miles to the town of Fowler and pass on through. I'm feeling energized by the cooler weather and easy miles, plus I also spent the last 2 days mostly off the bike, so I'm all charged up. The further I ride west, the more forested the trail becomes. It took another 11 miles to reach the town of Meijer, where I stopped at their post office to send some things back to Florida. My friend Bruce back home helps me with my touring by sending me gear ahead of my routes. So before I leave home, I pack a few of these items in different boxes and mark on them what they are. As the weather changes, I swap out sleeping bags or clothes or whatnot, and also send miscellaneous things I pick up along the way. The aim is to keep my bike as light as I can, which is not easy as I carry a laptop computer and my filming equipment. After sending this and that back home at Meijer's post office, I ride on Meijer's very sleepy West Superior Street with its mostly closed buildings and get back on the Meijer Clarion-Ionia Shiawassee trail. Alright, back on the trail. Another 20 something miles before I get to Lowell. I'm close to 60 miles for the day. Feel pretty good since I started late. That was a groggy morning today. And feel strong. Feel really, really good. The cool weather is probably in the high 60s, if not low 70s. Feels good. The trail has definitely gotten more scenic the farther west I've gotten. And I'm trying to stop at Lowell. There's a fairgrounds that I was told I couldn't camp at by one sheriff office, but then the county told me I could, so I'm just gonna go. If I see a police officer, I'll ask. Another 13, 14 miles. 2 miles from Lowell. I could go further, but I think it's good for today. It's getting late. I want to find a place to camp out. Might take some work. Made it to Lowell. Now I have to find a camping spot and make some dinner. That police officer back there, Ian, he just like set me up. He pulled out his phone. He told me where to camp, where there could be some open showers at the fairgrounds. He says you normally need a permit, but he gave me the okay, and he said that he's the one on duty tonight and that he'll share the work with the other officers. This is awesome. I'm just so psyched to have these opportunities because they don't come about that easily. A bonus on a bonus day. Here's a bit of a rundown of the 3-season tent I have used for both tours across the United States and how it works. Once I started using it in the spring of 2020, it became my home away from home and by far my favorite place to sleep. It's called an Ayak and it's made by the Swedish company Hilleberg, the tent maker. It's a 2-person tent with a reasonable weight of about 3 pounds with a single entryway and vestibule, making it a roomy single-user tent. I have comfortably used it in heat wave weather, crazy Midwestern rainstorms, as well as in fall-time Rocky Mountain snowstorms and in winds of over 40 miles per hour in the Dakotas. They offer 2 inner tent models, one with all mesh and the other with only mesh at the door. One of the best things about this tent is that it only takes 2 poles fed through their sleeve to raise both the outer and inner tents at the same time. They're both connected with a design that allows you to use the tents in many ways if you choose to, like when it's raining and you don't want to enter the inner tent until you take off your wet gear. A footprint that can be connected to the tents as well is optional, but I chose to cut my own out of a tarp I already had. 10 pegs secure the 10 enrollable vestibules to the ground with 4 adjustable guide lines at each corner. The sleeping system I use varies using 3 different sleeping bags with changing temperatures except for 3 items: the Z-Lite Soul sleeping pad made by Thermarest, the Comfort Plus insulated air sleeping mat from Sea to Summit, and the inflatable Luxe camping pillow from Climate. I first put down the Z-Lite pad with its ThermaCapture reflective side facing up if I want more warmth, and then place the Comfort Plus sleeping pad on top once inflated. This sleeping mat from Sea to Summit weighs 30 ounces and has 2 separate layers that inflate with ease using its stuffed sack. I inflate one side rigid, pumping the stuffed sack twice and the other only once, making for a softer top layer that I adjust later on by slowly releasing more air once laying on it. If the weather permits, as it does on this day, I tend to settle this up out of the tent and then finish it once inside, but with the roomy space of my Nyack tent I can easily do it all from the inside as well. With temperatures in the 60s this day, I cover the mat with an ultra-light silk-like sleeve and use my synthetic lightweight quilt from Big Agnes. One item I always use is this chamois that lays next to me in case I spill my drink or food, that way my gear stays clean and dry. One thing to mind is that camping is creative and there are many ways and gear that conform to one's needs. Lastly, I inflate the Luxe camping pillow from Climate, which is one of the 2 pillows I use, as I always carry a second warmer sleeping bag other than the quilt that provides me with an extra pillow. I always look for ways to improve and already have a game plan for a lighter pad and mat sleeping system for my next tour, as well as my Nyack tent's more compact and lighter cousin called the Enon that I'll be testing out during my next tour. My recipe's 2 ramen packs. Before I do anything, I put the water and then I buy when I can find. I don't do it all the time, but either vegetables like a whole onion. I like to chop it up and put it in the water before I start, or sausages, but it's rare. But I found these like locally venison. They're like deer sausages, and I cut them up and put it in there because I don't like carrying fat, and the sausages have fat in them. Let the fat kind of render into the water. Then I put the 2 packs of ramen. Once it's sort of done, I put the flavoring packages. I don't know that it's a healthy food, but it's just calories right now. The first month of my trip, I went all vegetarian. I did all of the Appalachians, New Hampshire, Vermont, New York, and Pennsylvania. I never ate any animal proteins. And I can't say that I felt that good. I felt like I needed more juice, and as soon as I started eating animal protein, I started feeling better. It's just maybe the amount of miles that I'm cranking or how much effort I'm putting forth. I do feel like I need to make that part of my diet to feel stronger and have more longevity throughout the day.